Well, I think you kids probably would like to hear more about my younger life when I was 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. But I keep going back to the days that I was running around the country and riding trains. I'd ride freight trains and get on the blinds of a passenger train. The blind on a passenger train was right behind the engine. And if I was in a big hurry, I'd jump on a passenger train. And if I was not in a big hurry, I'd jump on a freight train. And lots of times we'd get kicked off those trains and have to go to hitchhiking. And hitchhiking sometimes is pretty hard. What I would do sometime when I was hitchhiking, I remember one time that I was in Chicago, and it was bitterly cold. Gee, it was cold. I didn't have any money. And I walked along the streets, and I said, how the hell could I make enough money to turn around or get a hold of 50 cents to get a room? In those days, you could get a room for 50 cents or something to eat. And I come upon an idea. I turned around, and I saw a guy drive up with his wife or his girlfriend or something. They pulled up in front of this restaurant, and I said, heck, I got an idea. So I turned around, and I took out a matchstick and deliberately let down one of his tires, and I stood in the doorway there until he come out. When he come out, I said, mister, you got a flat tire. And he says, well, gee, yeah. I said, you want me to fix it for you? He said, sure. So I turned around in that cold, bitterly weather where I turned around and fixed his tire, and he gave me $1. Boy, that was a lot of money. And I says, hell, I could do this pretty good. Well, every once in a while, I would do something like that. But I remember one time, I turned around and let down the air of a tire. The guy waited for a guy to come out. When he came out, I went ahead and fixed it. And he looked at me, he says, thanks, and drove off. And I said, well, there'll be no more of that. I stopped that kind of a deal. But another thing what I would do is on a highway, I'd get hold of an empty 5-gallon can. They had these old oil cans in those days that they used spare gasoline. And I would be walking on the highway with that as if I was run out of gas, and motorists would stop and pick me up and say, got your car broke down? I said, yeah. He said, get in. So I'd get on pretty soon. After about 5 hours, I'd convince them that it was just a trick. And 99% of the time, they didn't mind. And they'd take me as far as he was going. Or I'd even take an old tire and roll the tire along like I'd had a flat tire or something. But I always managed to get by in that respect. Riding a freight train is more sure that you're going to get someplace, because you can get in a boxcar and sit down, and usually some other people in there, and you can shoot the bullshit with them and get along pretty good. But on a highway, lots of time you'd be out there for 2, 3, 4 hours, and nobody would ever pick you up. So I think I hung on both those freight trains, passenger trains, and highway. But I love to travel, even like today. You kids probably realize that I do an awful lot of traveling. My wife, Maxine, we're gone 2, 3, 4 times a year. I guess I've got gypsy in my blood. But to me, the happiest times of my life is when I get out on the highway or on the ship or anything. I just love to travel.